This is the J.R. Hendrick Texan Consort. And this is in a different format. It's the early life of J.R. Please forgive me. Take a look at what's here. There we go. We're doing this a little bit differently because, well, JR wants to wait until the actual start of Season 5, which will begin in about 10 days. It will be the second episode of Season 5 that we go back into the traditional narrated format. We're going to go back into the original. It's the 7th of March. Sunday, Daddy took me to church for what was known in the Assemblies of Christ as Kent Conclave, an area-wide conference of the Assemblies of Christ. Then, afterwards, dropping me off at the mansion, he went straight into playing golf with Blake Carter. One day he spent part of the day off playing golf, and he sends me to Gettysburg to make a speech that night. 3 a.m. Eastern, with Jim inebriated and passed out upstairs. JR wakes up in the mansion front lounge to see what's on TV. Unfortunately, all that was on the news channels were documentaries and infomercials. So Jacob puts in one of the family videotapes to watch it, one of the home videos. Okay, 5:05 a.m. As Daddy is downstairs working out in the gym, I'm sitting in the mansion front lounge reading the Washington Times. Blake Carter had not woke up yet, but Daddy had promised him a morning round of golf before he was to go off and prepare for his job with the Dream Team. Before Blake was to go off and prepare for his show. At 5:30 a.m., Jim arrives at the home front lounge of the mansion and engages in a dialogue with JR. Okay, this is going to be interesting to find. I ask you to be patient. Morning, Daddy. Morning, boy. Listen, I'm going to be taking the morning off. I'm going to take Blake here for a round of golf before he has to start preparing for his show. I'm sending you to Gettysburg this evening. Why are you sending me to Gettysburg, Daddy? You going with Miss Grace off? Alright. Y'all leaving 4:40 in there in the evening, okay? You're gonna get there at 6. That's when the doors open. The Gettysburg Community of Christ. Right. Now, you're speech for faith-based initiatives. You do this for me, boy? Yes, sir, Daddy, of course. Good. It's you to earn your keep. Boy, I'm sorry to have to keep you on your toes, but I need you to kind of represent me for a little bit before you have to go back to Texas. You know, Daddy, if Mama and Grandma could have stayed, I would have delayed. No. I heard about what you did. You wrote text saying that you might delay your arrival. I told them, sent them a letter. You don't do that, boy. You're going to check in on time. Okay? You're going to check in on time. You're going to get in your school. You're going to finish your education. Now listen. Rest of the family's back in Texas. You're going to be going there at the end of this week. It's the best for everybody. Don't you worry about me. I'll make it just fine in this house. Something tells me your mama may be joining me. I don't know. Think she can? I have no choice. I ain't leaving her, the Kyle and Christine, and that big old ranch. Look, do me a favor. I want you in Gettysburg for me, boy. Okay? No exceptions. 4:40 this afternoon. Yes, sir. What'll I do in the meantime? Rest up, go swimming. I really don't care, boy. Your internship is over. By the way, I spoke to Dexter the day before it ended. He's going to send it with a good letter of recommendation to your faculty. You're going to graduate very well, my boy. Thank you, Daddy. Don't thank me. You deserve it, boy. Now, you got work to do. I got work to do. I say we see to it that we do it. Yes, sir, Daddy. Okay. 7 a.m. Eastern. Carmen takes JR to grab breakfast at Burger Shot as Jim goes to play a round of golf with Blake Carter. 9 a.m. Jim is still playing golf with Blake Carter. JR sits in his room watching the TV set that Jim Bob Horton gave him with satellite antenna. 3 p.m. Jim gets off the air from the Grace Arthur show and goes downstairs to the front lounge where he sees JR. Why don't you get up and make yourself useful, boy? Jim said. What do you need, Daddy? JR asked. You're leaving in about 2 hours to go to Gettysburg. Now, Carmen has picked out a suit for you. Go upstairs and freshen up, get into some fresh clothes. Jim turns on CBNC. where the TV equivalent of the Grace Arthur show is taking place. Jim is raging because Dick Morris praising Clinton for his accomplishments in the White House. He's interviewed on one news channel, NPR, Jim said angrily, turning off the TV. 7:30 p.m. Gettysburg Assemblies of Christ. JR has wound up his speech, and with the help of his father's consultant, Kelly, they took a poll, and Grace Arthur, they took a poll of those there regarding faith-based initiatives for small business. 114 of the 120 families represented supported JR's dad's measure. It must be the next day. Okay. Let me make sure I got this right. Yeah, it is. Okay. This is now the 8th. 1:10 p.m. JR had gone swimming and then had lunch. But now he's sitting in the front mansion lounge moping. 2 days ago, Shirley Nation has sent him some society pictures of Jennifer Bowers dancing with a new fiancé, John Henry. With Karen returned back to Midland, Odessa, and most of his friends are back home, getting ready for college, JR is feeling discouraged. What's bringing it down? Avery Covington said. And of course, JR shows him the photos. Yes. Oh, yeah. Your daddy told me about that. Look, that woman wasn't meant for you. I mean, built a future kingpin for some wannabe blogger. For some stupid blogger who's going to end up dumping her in the first place. And there's a miles difference between me and Karen when I get back to Texas Tech. Your father told me that, look, I hate to burst your bubble, but she's going to find somebody else. You deserve so much better. Okay, so it's 9:30 p.m. Eastern. J.R. Gibbs in the stretch limo, driven by Carmen. Okay, yeah. Some of this is disjointed, sorry. The Gettysburg in the pool. So now here we are, 2:50 a.m. Eastern. Now we're the 8th. Jim is awake and watching the society page with Norma Sanders, where Blake Carter's attorney is attacking Clinton's policy on Bosnia. Ironically, from yesterday's news was a CNBC poll, a CBNC poll showing very few Republicans support for Jim. However, Jim has an edge among conservative independents in the Republican Party. Fidgeting, Jim opens the Fort Worth Times, where his cousin by his father, little Bobby Hendrick, defended Jim's political positions on the economy. 3 a.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Kyle is loading 8 of the hogs to take to an auction in Hobbs, New Mexico. Today he would be getting the rest of the hogs ready for breeding. Inside the house, Grandma Elizabeth is up watching country music videos. Today, her daughter, Betsy, would be taking little Thomas to LBJ Elementary to register for kindergarten, a milestone that awed Elizabeth. 4:05 a.m., Jim is downstairs in the gym, bench pressing today with the bench pressing and the treadmill. 6:20 a.m., JR is having donuts with his father. I got a call this morning from your mama. Said it seems like Christine had a hell of a swimming party. Yes, she's interested in boys, all right. But more of them, none of them really want to talk to her, Jim said. Well, Daddy, maybe she needs some of your charm, Gerald said. Or Gerald teased. You stop shooting me, boy? You making me think me sending you to prep school was a mistake. A mistake, Jim said. Now, I'm going to a rally at Druid Park tonight in Baltimore. You're coming with me. Relax, Daddy. It must be nice that my daddy is the big guy, JR said. Jim laughed and knocked his cowboy hat off. Boy, you're the big guy. You were in demand last night at Gettysburg. 8 a.m. Jim is holding a dream team meeting. Grace's polling is clear, Jim said. In Gettysburg, 95% of that church supports faith-based initiatives. Now, Dave Rosenberg said, Jim, the real test is tonight at Druid Park. 60 folks. Now just hold on, Avery said. These rallies have to hold steam. We got 1 tonight and 2 tomorrow in Greensboro. Avery, I booked 3 seats on American flight for me, you, and JR. You're to take the damn poll, Jim said. Coach, no, Jim, I think we should all get with you tonight to go with you tonight to Druid Park. Then have dinner together Cowboy Joe McDonald said. Okay. Now, so that's what Cowboy Joe McDonald said. Okay, so now it's 8 a.m. Central. Betsy is talking to fellow rancher Jack Daly. Jack is excited about JR coming home and is thrilled that he owns 2 companies. He's come a long way for just hanging around the ranch, Jack Daly said. The school district said that he was a slow learner, and that way beyond angered Jim. So prep school helped him, Betsy said. 1 p.m. Eastern. As his father is working on the press release, JR is sitting in the mansion's front lounge. Then his cell phone rings. It's Betsy. Hello, Mama. How are you? JR said. Oh, it's beautiful back here in Texas. JR, I can't wait for you to come home. I go by LBJ Elementary to enroll little Thomas for kindergarten. Can you believe it? He's already there, Betsy said. I used to hold a little Tyke. I used to rock him and make funny noises. It seemed to soothe him. So whenever his parents were arguing, Jared said, just think, 4 more days. You are back in Texas. And 6 more days, you'll be back at the ranch. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. Central. LBJ Elementary. I bet Betsy is enrolling little Thomas in the 4th grade. Where he would be in the kindergarten class of Mary Stonehurst. Although this was a public school, this teacher was a devout Christian. At the same time, Christine and Jennifer go to Midway Prep and try to find their same homeroom class. Man, this place looks so stern, Christine said. Don't worry. We get used to it, Jennifer said. Now, Midway Prep was a strict Presbyterian school. Bet Granddad once said that none of his kids would ever darken the door. But what he didn't, and what he found was ironic. What I found out a little ironic was that both my brother and my sister would end up going to that school. In 2015, splitting the prep school board led to redistricting of kids from Medessa to lead prep, a more relaxed Episcopalian school. 2 p.m. Eastern. Daddy sent me to the house floor to look at the possibility of sustainability for small business package entering the house floor. Surprisingly, enough of what was introduced and sponsored by Libertarian Congressman Bill Hume. 4 p.m. Eastern. Jim is in his office doing the finishing touches on his speech in Druid Park. Suddenly JR walks in. "Come on in and have a seat, boy," Jim said. "I know I never really appreciate you like I should. So before I hit the rally trail, there's something that I must say," Jim said. "Go ahead, Daddy," Gerald said. "When you get back to Texas, it's going to be rough. Your grandma's pretty sick, and your mama is going to need all the help that she can get. So, unless I'm home, you're the man of the house on Swainfield." But Kyle, "Nope. He's got a ranch load of kids. I need someone of a higher caliber. A gentleman. You, JR. Now, please, don't let me down." Okay, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. The Hendrick entourage leaves 14 Heritage Gate to go to Druid Park Chapel. 8 p.m. After a speech by Republican consultant Mary Magdalene O'Hare, Jim gives a stirring speech at Druid Park advocating for sustainability for small business, namely faith-based initiatives. 8 p.m. Central. In the den of Swainfield, Betsy, Christine, and Elizabeth argue. Lord knows how many cotillions you went to in Washington, D.C. I think you've outgrown it now that you're back in Texas, Betsy said. "Oh, Mom, come on." "Why not?" Christine said. "You can find me some better boys. Boys of better quality than you might find at Midway Prep." Betsy, stop that nonsense. That nonsense that says that Reese Prep boys ain't nothing but snobs. You know, your daddy reluctantly let JR go there. He turned out all right, Elizabeth said. "Stay out of this, Mama," Bessie said. "There's no doubt," Elizabeth said. "If you hamper this girl, she'll be looking at you, wondering why you and Jim didn't help her find a better husband. I'm right, and you know it." Woo! Grandma Elizabeth is a man. August 9th, 1 a.m. Jim is keyed up in the mansion home lounge, opening up his briefcase with all the material he needs for tomorrow's speech, which he had been working on since he returned from the rally in Druid Park. 3:10 a.m. Jim, Avery, and JR step into a white stretch limo that would take them to Reagan International Airport. 3:35 a.m. Eastern. At Reagan International Airport, Jim, JR, and Avery Covington check in for the American Airlines Flight 5309 down for Greensboro, North Carolina. 3 a.m. Central. At the ranch, Kyle is out milking the cows and getting 9 of them ready for an auction in Irving. Today, Kyle and Betsy would be working with the hens to get the rest of the cattle to graze at the South 9. 5:35 a.m. American Airlines Flight 5309 departs from Reagan International Airport, bound for Greensboro International Airport. Where the Conservative Baptist Convention was taking place, where Jim was to be a keynote speaker. 5 a.m. Central. With the ranch truck gone on to Irving, Betsy and Kyle finished milking the cows and getting them ready for 9 a.m. grazing time. 7:35 a.m. Shortly after Air Force One takes off from Joint Base Andrews, Bill Clinton is having a meeting with Special Top Secret staffer Alexandria Irons. Okay, give me a minute to pull that. Okay. Just need you guys to be patient. Alexandra,
Mr. President. Come here. Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm just fine. Got my policy team back together. Trying to get some things done. Congress ain't been really doing much or nothing. That's really what's going to come. Let's get over here. Get you anything? Coffee? Juice?
Juice would be nice.
Sit down, my dear. Fill me in about Henry. We weren't able to meet last time because, well, Hillary arrived, and along with the damn Ezra Johnson crowd, I didn't think I was ever going to get rid of them. What do you know?
My spies tell me that Hendrick just landed in Greensboro to attend the Conservative Baptist Convention and to make a speech at a Baptist church and make a speech for blind entrepreneurs. Not to mention, he did a rally last night at Druid Park with this Democratic consultant from Texas, Republican consultant from Texas. Mary Magdalene O'Hara. Oh. Son of a... Well, if I'm not damned. He started doing rallies since Friday. Shit. His wife gone and he goes nuts. Has he been cheating? Thursday night, Claire Les was seen going upstairs in the Hendrick mansion. She didn't emerge until like 8 o'clock in the morning. Not to mention, I think Hendrick called her prostitute last night. Well, he's cheating. But I doubt he's going to let his wife know. She knows. She accepts it. Whatever it be. No one's with him in the mansion as far as family. Just his son, J.R. I feel sorry for him. Damn, girl. What on earth we gonna do? Look, $7,200. And you get back to your seat and we'll talk.
Okay. Pretty interesting. 7:30 a.m. Jim is sitting next to Bernard Britley at the Third Conservative Baptist Convention. The keynote. Jim was not the keynote speaker after all. It was Dr. D.W. Winslow, the very pastor who had married Jim and Bessie, renewing their vows in 1973 and 1980. It was the same preacher, D.W. Winslow, who had gone to the home of country singer Terry Lawrence to tell her to stop seeing my father. His message on justification by faith and avoiding sin really came to my soul. 9 a.m. Rehoboth Christian Academy. Jim is delivering a stirring speech praising the academy and praising some of the students who had decided to take the entrepreneurship track. He's making a speech to faculty and staff about access to education for small business, possibly even tying it into faith-based initiatives. Okay. Now, let's get this going. "9 a.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Kyle and Betsy are out feeding the cows. Elizabeth is in the living room watching some celebrity gossip TV. Christine is on the phone in the den talking to Jennifer, asking her to come over for the next few days before JR returns from Washington, D.C. 11 a.m. Eastern. In the North Carolina estate of the family of Bernard Britley, Jim, JR, and Avery are at a reception in Jim's honor. Lunch is fried chicken, mashed potatoes, asparagus, double-decker chocolate cake, and drink for everyone except for JR, who wanted Sprite. All the other adults had Everclear mixed with North Carolina Concord grape wine. Okay, 1 p.m. Jim meets with the Greensboro SBA director, Jack Gaither, who's a holdover from the Reagan administration, who was consulting directly with Senator Jesse Helms about introducing the sustainability for small business. 3:15 p.m. as the Britley private jet taxis down the runway and departs for Washington, D.C., JR takes a look at the photo he has of Jennifer dancing with John Henry. While waiting for the plane, he received an email from Jennifer's friend, Connie Brookins, who was now a senior at Tech, who told JR that Jennifer was crazy for dating this blogger. Connie Brookins would become a close friend to JR, and in consequence, some of the Hendrick family, especially JR's father. 3 p.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Betsy gets a call from Becky, Claude's ex-girlfriend. She was returning to Midland, Odessa, to take care of some loose ends and wanted to have lunch and or dinner with Betsy. They set up dinner for tomorrow night, and for Saturday they would have lunch because JR would still be in Dallas-Fort Worth. 7 p.m. at 14 Heritage Gate. Around the dinner table was Jim and JR, Jim and Carol Stringer, along with the rest of the Dream Team. Dinner that night was Castillo Adobe, a Mexican pork tenderloin recipe with green beans, chicken fried rice, and chocolate and Mexican chocolate cake. 9 p.m. Jim asks Jim and Carol Stringer to stay the night at the mansion. 11:30 p.m. Ooh. JR has a nightmare of Kyle and his friend David chasing him up and down the stairs. The date? It's his friend Felix chasing up and down stairs. It's October 13th, 1988. The parents were on the campaign trail for Bush. The grandparents were at a society dinner at the country club. So now I've got to pull this up. I ask you to bear with me. Oh, great commercial. You got to be number one. I won't tolerate any losers in this family, JR. I ain't tolerating it. Win! 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 What the hell is going on here? Break it up. I said break it up. It's not my fault. Shut up, Kyle. Thank God. What's going on here? Let them leave me alone. Thank God. It's okay, boy. Your granddad would never put this. Kyle, you're grounded. Your friend has to go home. Why does he have to go home? Because Miss Cahill told you mine. She's been writing reports all evening. And you leave JR alone. It's okay, son. Go to your room. He won't bother you the rest of the night. That was the family friend, Mike Fields. Okay, so now we go to August 10th. It's 1 a.m. Jim has a flashback dream. The Swainfield Charity Rodeo. Accompanying Jim was country singer Terry Lawrence. The St. Louis-born beauty queen and country singer. In the periphery, behind the stands of the rodeo, Betsy talks to Terry. I see why Jim is hot for you. I see why Jim is attracted to you. Betsy said, I see it, but I don't like it. Ma'am, I know it is wrong. I know it is wrong. I left my husband for him because my husband was also having an affair. He told me he wanted to divorce. He wanted to divorce you. He can't. Because, you see, we have 3 children together. I'm his wife. And it's okay that you want to be the mistress. But I'm telling you that Jim Hendricks will be complete with you. It's all a matter of time. Betsy was sitting in the stands when Jim walked over to her. My dear, good. You still know. It's still going on. Have you made your peace? Jim asked. I'm fine. I made our agreement 2.5 years ago, Jim. The only way I'll trash this agreement is if you agreed to leave Nashville once and for all. I love you, Betsy, but I can't do that. 65-year-old Elizabeth walks over to her son-in-law. More like won't. You don't even see what this is doing to JR. My husband has taken over raising him, since all you care about is country music and making money in Nashville. That modern crap. 2 a.m. Jim wakes up, from a start, and he takes the picture of his wife Betsy by his bed. He looks at her with love in his eyes. He remembers how in May of 1987, Jim had returned back to the ranch forever from Nashville. Although his riches were intact, he had lost some money, and he was humiliated. His father-in-law, desiring to end the affair with Terry Lawrence once and for all, used some Dixie Mafia lawyers to sign the singer up for a contract with a country music studio in Bethesda, Maryland. No one would hear from Daddy's past Nashville mistress again until she showed up in March 2013 to apologize to Mama. The 58-year-old singer said because she could never get over Jim. And Mama said that few of his women could. And when this singer asked Mama how she coped with it, Mama said, at least on how she was raised, it was just a fact of life. Okay, so it's 3 a.m. Jim wakes up and goes downstairs to the front lounge. He is reading from his book by Billy Graham. 5 a.m. Jim and JR are sitting in the front lounge in 14 Heritage Gate. Jim gets a call from Janet, Claude's bride, telling him she and Claude were going to a field in Junction. 6:30 a.m. JR Jim, along with Jim and Carol Stringer, have boiled eggs and bacon with a choice of milk and orange juice for breakfast. 8 a.m. Jim is having his meeting with his press aide, John Sestina, who gives him pointers about the afternoon's press conference. 10 a.m. JR is in his room when he gets a call. It's from Betsy. "Mama, how are you?" JR asks. "It's going to be nice to see you back home. And I'm glad your dad has talked you out of that stupid delay from going to Texas Tech. No way are we going to let you show up late," Betsy said. "I was going to do it for Grandma." "Oh, come on now, JR. She wants you to finish your education, regardless of what happens to her." 1 p.m. I get this stupid thing to cooperate. He likes to be difficult. Okay, 1 p.m. Jim is in his office talking to press agent John Sestina, discussing his press conference where he talks about access to education, particularly entrepreneurial courses in high school. 2:15 p.m. Jim has his press conference in the press briefing room at 14 Heritage Gate. where he announces a key program he has in mind for some business access to education in high school. 3 p.m. JR is doing some reading when his cell phone rings. It's Jim Bob Horton. Hey, I was wondering if the 16th, you and I could spend some time with Brad. Sure, Darryl said. 5 p.m. in the mansion front lounge. JR is watching the society page. Country singer Terry Lawrence tells all about why she and her husband are separated with an open marriage. 6:30 p.m. Jim and JR have burritos from Kentucky Belle delivered for dinner. It just being the two of them tonight. After dinner, Claire Luss will be coming to spend the night with JR. With Jim. At 9 p.m. Nothing to do with Jim would ask Claire Luss to spend their next few days with him. Okay. Because her husband wouldn't be back from Europe until late September. 10 p.m. after quite a night with his father in the front lounge, JR goes upstairs, turns off the light, and goes to sleep. So now we have to find July 11th. JR has a flashback dream. January 2nd, 1992. This is in the Hendrick Mansion in Gainesville. He's having an altercation with his father over a party that happened the night before. Some society dinner. So, give me a chance to find it. Oh, no, don't do that. You happy now? What do I do to you now? What's right, my boy? Talking behind my back about what happened at the party. I wasn't even at the party, Daddy. It's just the same old story. You come in drunk. You and Pal always talking about what fights you did. Now, Grandma says that was wrong, and I say that's wrong. Shut up! When you gonna mind? When you gonna learn? Somebody trying to teach you ever since you was a kid. Mind your place. Oh, and I don't mind my place, Dad. Question is to you. Your mama was hurt by it. Yeah, I already know. That's all I'm going to play. We need to kind of move on. 3 a.m. Central. Grandma Elizabeth wakes up with stomach cramps and crying for JR. She remembers the times before he went to college and even during the summer of 1992, how when she was having the side effects of chemotherapy and the hospitalization that summer, that JR would be at her bedside, soothing her and even taking naps with her. 5:50 a.m. Central. At the ranch, Kyle is getting the bulls ready to headed for a rodeo in Kerrville. Peter Seaton, the rodeo hero of Texas, was to be at the rodeo. and would have a chance to ride James Moorhead's bull. 7 a.m. Eastern, JR and his father would have breakfast alone, French toast. Claire Less had already left to do some TV reporting before she was to join Jim and the Dream Team for consultation session. 9 a.m. Jim is meeting with his Dream Team with intense basic training in preparation for the rally tomorrow in Baltimore. 11 a.m. JR is upstairs packing in his room when his phone rings. It's Ken. Okay, so your plane gets there to Dallas tomorrow at 8. I'm done with my internship at Dr. Pepper, so I'll pick you up. We'll spend 2 nights in your parents' hotel suite at the Hyatt. And then Monday morning, we'll go back to the ranch. Now, Tuesday, Mom says I have to go see Carly for a few days. And says that Carly needs help with Jake and Emma. Carly was Ken's sister, the older sister, by 8 years. Jake and Emma were the twins she had by her marriage to Harrah Ehrlich. Carly had just gotten out of a bad relationship with her live-in boyfriend, James Finnegan, who died in March of 1995. 1 p.m. Eastern, DuPont Hotel. Jim and the Dream Team are consulting with Carl Road. 3 p.m. As Jim is working with his Dream Team, JR is still working on packing. 5 p.m. JR is sitting in the front lounge watching the society page where he sees the picture of Jennifer Bowers receiving a 24-karat gold diamond ring from her fiancé, John Henry. 7 p.m. As Carmen has finished the laundry, JR packs the rest of the things as his father looks on. His father had asked for a neighbor, divorced journalist Catherine Baird, to stay the night. So he wants a mansion full. At 9 p.m., JR is in the mansion front lounge, watching TV with his father. He gets ready to leave to return to his room, and his father turns to him. Go and divide and conquer, son, and be a man. Hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of the adventure. This is the J.R. Hendrick Texan, this James Hendrick Empowerment Network saying until next time, get ready for the rest of the story. It's going to be more interesting and fun from here.